Ever felt like your world is spinning out of control? Like everything around you is pure chaos, work piling up, personal life in disarray, and your mind constantly racing just to keep up? We've all been there, right? But what if I told you there's a way to not only survive the chaos, but thrive in it? Yes, you heard that right. In this video, I'm going to share practical, no-nonsense strategies that'll teach you how to stay calm in the most intense moments. And no, it's not about pretending everything's fine or giving you some wishy-washy advice. This is about real, actionable tools that can immediately shift your mindset and give you the control you've been craving. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you might just be the game changer you've been waiting for. Ready to turn the chaos into your greatest ally? Let's dive in. Number 1, embrace the anarchy. Why surrendering to chaos can be your greatest strength. Here's the thing. Chaos isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally, if you know how to wield it. Sounds crazy, right? But bear with me. In a world that constantly demands calm, order, and control, the real power might just lie in letting go and embracing the mess. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't want chaos. I want peace. But trust me, the trick isn't in fighting the storm. It's in learning how to dance in the rain. Yes, seriously. Stick with me, and I'll explain. We've all been there. That moment when everything is spinning out of control, whether it's at work, in a relationship, or even just in your own head. You're juggling deadlines, your to-do list is longer than your arm, and you feel like you're about to snap. The natural instinct? Tighten your grip, right? You try to get everything under control, micromanage the situation, and keep things orderly. But the more you try, the more chaotic it seems. Sound familiar? It's like trying to fix a broken vase by gluing the pieces together while it's still shattering in your hands. The more you resist, the worse it gets. Now here's the twist. Instead of fighting the chaos, what if you surrendered to it? What if you stopped trying to control every detail and let the pieces fall where they may? You might be rolling your eyes, thinking I'm suggesting you become a doormat for life's unpredictable messes. But that's not it at all. Surrendering to chaos doesn't mean giving up. It means finding strength in your adaptability. It's the ability to bend, to roll with the punches, and to remain steady even when the world feels like it's falling apart. It's not weakness, it's resilience in its most powerful form. I'll be honest, I used to fight against the chaos like it was my personal nemesis. A few months ago, I was working on a huge project. Everything was on fire, deadlines were looming, and I was drowning in stress. The usual reaction: tension, panic, an intense urge to fix everything immediately. But here's what happened. I hit a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. I let go. I took a deep breath, and instead of pushing harder, I relaxed. I let the chaos unfold. And you know what? The universe didn't collapse. The deadline didn't explode. I gave myself permission to breathe, and somehow everything started falling into place. The tasks became clearer, the pressure eased, and the whole situation felt manageable. Not because I controlled it, but because I allowed it to unfold on its own terms. Here's the real secret. Embracing chaos teaches you how to find peace within yourself, not through controlling the world around you. It's about releasing the illusion of perfection and instead focusing on adapting and responding rather than reacting. Imagine the power that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you, not because you're perfect, but because you're flexible and strong in your own skin. This isn't about passively watching life happen to you. It's about being active in your response to chaos, choosing to flow with it rather than break under its weight. It's reclaiming your power by not needing to control everything. It's about peace, but the kind that comes from within. The kind of peace that can't be shaken by external circumstances. And let's be honest, Isn't that the kind of peace we all really crave? So here's your takeaway. Chaos doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, adaptable, and resilient. Embrace the anarchy, let go, and watch how you come out of it with a renewed sense of inner strength. Because in the end, it's not the chaos that defines you, it's how you handle it. And trust me, that's your greatest superpower. Number 2, radical disconnection. Unplug to regain control. Here's the truth no one tells you. You can't stay plugged in all the time and still expect to function like a human being. Sounds dramatic, right? But trust me, it's not. In fact, it's probably one of the most radical moves you can make in today's world. Imagine disconnecting, really disconnecting, for just a bit. Now, you might be thinking, how will I survive without checking my emails, my texts, my socials for even a few hours? I get it. It feels impossible, but stay with me, and you'll see why this could be the game changer you need. We've all been there, right? You wake up to 100 notifications, the pinging and buzzing of life demanding your attention. It's like you can't even start your day without diving into an ocean of distractions. You check your phone first thing, scroll mindlessly through endless updates, and before you know it, you've lost an hour just scrolling. Or maybe you're at work, staring at your screen, juggling emails, Zoom calls, and endless tasks, all while your mind is racing in 100 directions. You know the type, the days that feel like you're running a marathon, but you've barely moved an inch. Now, imagine hitting pause on all that noise. What if, just for a moment, you allowed yourself to step back and unplug? Sounds like a luxury, right? But it's more than that. It's a necessity. Radical disconnection doesn't just mean turning off your phone or walking away from your laptop. It's about giving yourself permission to reclaim your focus, your time, and your well-being. It's a chance to hit the reset button and get back to the version of yourself that isn't constantly tied to notifications and deadlines. Here's the kicker. This strategy isn't just about escaping chaos. It's about creating space for clarity. When you step away from the digital whirlwind, you can actually hear your own thoughts again. That voice that's been drowned out by emails, news cycles, and social media. It comes back. It's like your brain gets a breath of fresh air. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I don't have the time for this. I get it. Time feels tight. But the truth is, by disconnecting, you're actually giving yourself the most precious resource you need, mental bandwidth. You'll be able to think clearer, make better decisions, and approach challenges with a renewed energy. Let me give you a personal example. A few months ago, I was in the middle of a massive project at work. Deadlines were looming, and I was juggling multiple tasks like I was some kind of robot. One evening, after working for hours straight, I realized I hadn't taken a break. My mind was foggy, my creativity was drained, and I could feel the weight of exhaustion. That's when I decided to radically disconnect. I turned off my phone, closed my laptop, and went for a walk. No tech, no distractions. At first, it felt weird. I was tempted to check my notifications, but I resisted. After about 30 minutes, I came back refreshed with a whole new perspective. The ideas that were eluding me all day suddenly clicked. My focus sharpened, and the work that felt like a mountain before was now something I could tackle with ease. I was recharged, not because I worked harder, but because I gave myself the permission to step back. Now think about it. How often do you find yourself overwhelmed, only to keep pushing harder, thinking you'll just power through? The problem with this mindset is that it's a hamster wheel. The more you keep going without stopping to recharge, the less effective you become. Radical disconnection is about breaking that cycle. It's about giving yourself the space to breathe, think, and reconnect with what really matters to you. It's a quiet act of rebellion against a world that's always demanding your attention. And it's not just for your productivity, it's for your peace of mind. When you embrace this idea of radical disconnection, you're claiming your time back. You're saying, this moment is mine, and I don't need to be constantly plugged in to prove my worth. It's about protecting your energy, your creativity, and ultimately your mental health. So here's the takeaway. Unplugging isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about finding your center again in a world that's constantly pulling you in 100 directions. Your space, your peace, and your focus are yours to protect. And once you start, you'll realize just how much power lies in the simple act of stepping away. Number 3, indulge in the chaos. Why you should seek out stressful situations. What if I told you that stress could actually be your secret weapon? I know, you're probably thinking, are you out of your mind? Stress is the enemy. But hear me out. What if I told you that seeking out stressful situations could actually help you thrive, not just survive? It might sound counterintuitive, but there's something liberating about leaning into chaos rather than running from it. Trust me, I've been there, and once you try it, you might just wonder why you didn't do it sooner. You know the type. Your to-do list is a mile long, deadlines are closing in, and it feels like everything is a fire that needs to be put out immediately. You're juggling tasks like a circus performer, and no matter how fast you run, the chaos keeps speeding up. We've all been there. It's that overwhelming feeling that makes you want to crawl into bed and pretend the world doesn't exist for 5 minutes. But here's the thing. We often spend so much time trying to escape stress. We forget that it can actually push us to do things we never thought possible. What if instead of avoiding it, we faced it head-on? Imagine this. You actively seek out situations that make you uncomfortable. A last-minute project at work, an impromptu speech at a family gathering, or a tough conversation you've been avoiding. Sounds terrifying, right? But here's the twist. Each of those stressful moments is an opportunity to level up. It forces you to think on your feet, be creative, and find solutions under pressure. The stress doesn't break you, it builds you. It stretches your limits and shows you just how capable you are when the heat is on. And here's the kicker. When you come out on the other side, you're not just relieved. You're stronger. You're more resilient. I remember a time when I was given a last-minute task at work, a huge project that was due in a matter of hours. I panicked. I had a moment where I wanted to say, I can't do this. But then I stopped myself. I thought, what if I didn't back down? What if I let this push me? I dove in head first. I made a plan, broke it into chunks, and gave myself the space to be flexible. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was incredibly stressful, but by the end of it, I felt this rush of accomplishment. I didn't just survive the chaos, I thrived in it. And the best part? It showed me that stress didn't need to control me. I could harness it, ride the wave, and come out the other side with more confidence than ever before. Here's the real magic. When you actively seek stressful situations, you're not only preparing for the next challenge, you're reprogramming your mind. You stop seeing stress as a threat and start viewing it as a tool. It's like lifting weights for your brain. The more you practice stepping into discomfort, the stronger you become at managing it. So, next time you're faced with a stressful moment, instead of retreating, think of it as an opportunity to sharpen your skills and build your mental muscle. It's about reclaiming your power, your strength, and your peace in the midst of uncertainty. The more you face chaos head-on, the less it will control you. You'll learn that stress doesn't have to be a burden. It can be the catalyst that drives you to do your best work, find creative solutions, and come out the other side feeling more capable than ever before. Embrace the chaos. Step into the stress. It's all part of the journey to becoming the best version of yourself. Your strength, your confidence, and your resilience are waiting on the other side of discomfort, so why not take the leap? Number 4, Master the art of doing nothing, the power of stillness in turmoil. Here's a bold statement for you. The key to mastering your life is learning how to do nothing. Yes, you heard that right. Nothing. In a world that's constantly pushing us to do more, achieve more, hustle harder, we've forgotten the power of stillness. Now you might be thinking, that's a bit counterproductive, don't you think? Trust me on this. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is absolutely nothing. It's not laziness, it's strategy. And here's why. We've all been there, feeling like we're on a hamster wheel, running from one task to the next, checking things off a never-ending list. Whether it's work, school, family obligations, or social media demands, it seems like there's always something pulling at us, demanding our attention. You know the type, the kind of day where it feels like you're spinning plates, but no matter how fast you go, they're all about to crash. The pressure starts to build, and before you know it, your mind feels like it's about to short-circuit. So, what do we usually do? We keep pushing. We try to solve the problem by doing more. But here's the thing. More isn't always the answer. Sometimes doing nothing is exactly what you need to reset and refocus. The art of doing nothing might sound strange, but it's an intentional practice. When life is chaotic and the demands feel overwhelming, you might be tempted to fight the storm by throwing yourself into more action. But what if the answer is just to sit with the chaos for a moment, to let it pass over you without reacting? Stillness gives your mind the space it needs to reset, refocus, and come up with a solution. When you're constantly in motion, you're not giving your mind the time to process or recharge. By doing nothing, taking a breath, sitting still, and allowing yourself to just exist, you create a pause, a moment of clarity amidst the chaos. This isn't just a nice to have, it's a necessity for mental health and personal growth. I can tell you from experience, I used to be the type of person who would panic when things weren't moving fast enough. A few months ago, I had a situation at work where everything seemed to be going wrong. There were endless meetings, deadlines, and problems to solve. My natural instinct was to dive deeper into the chaos, trying to put out every fire as quickly as possible. But then I stopped. I realized I wasn't actually solving anything, I was just reacting. So I stepped away for a bit. I took a walk, sat in silence, and let my mind rest. It wasn't easy at first. I kept feeling like I should be doing something, but after I allowed myself that stillness, I came back to the problem with a fresh perspective. The solutions seemed clearer, and I tackled the challenges with a much more calm and focused mindset. Doing nothing didn't make the problems go away, but it gave me the mental clarity I needed to approach them effectively. When you master the art of doing nothing, you're not just taking a break, you're learning how to reclaim your peace. It's about recognizing that you don't always have to be doing to be valuable. In fact, doing nothing can be one of the most empowering things you do for yourself. It's a practice of self-care, a reminder that your worth isn't measured by constant busyness or productivity. The beauty of stillness is that it allows you to center yourself, reset your energy, and return to the world with a clearer mind and stronger resolve. This is your invitation to pause, to step back from the noise and just breathe. It's about reclaiming your space, your mental health, and your peace in a world that constantly tells you to keep going, keep pushing, keep achieving. Mastering the art of doing nothing means knowing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply sit still and let the storm pass. Your space, your peace, and your clarity are worth every second of stillness you allow yourself. Embrace it. You'll be amazed at what it can do for you. Number 5. Fake it until you're actually calm. The power of pretending to stay cool. Here's a little secret for you. Sometimes pretending to be calm is the best way to actually become calm. Fake it until you make it, they say. But what if it's not just about making it? What if, by pretending to stay cool in the heat of the moment, you can actually convince yourself to do just that? Now, you might be thinking, that's just a trick. You can't fool your brain. But hear me out. This is about using the power of your body's response to calm your mind. Yes, trust me on this. We've all been there, right? The moment when stress hits you like a ton of bricks, whether it's a tight deadline at work, a family situation that's spiraling, or even just the rush of a busy day, that feeling of chaos can make your heart race and your thoughts scatter. You know the type. The kind of moment where it feels like the world is falling apart and you're just trying to keep it together. But what if, instead of reacting with panic, you could just press pause and pretend like everything is fine, even when it's not? Sounds strange, doesn't it? But that's the whole idea. Sometimes pretending is the first step toward real calm. Here's how it works. When you fake calmness, you activate your body's calm response. You slow down your breathing, straighten up, and maybe even smile. These small actions are more than just appearances. They send signals to your brain that help lower your stress. It's like a little life hack for your nervous system. The brain doesn't always know whether you're really calm or just pretending. If you act calm, your brain will start to buy into it. It sounds a bit like playing a game, right? But it's a game that can genuinely help you take control of your emotions. Let me share a real-life example. A few months ago, I was in a high-pressure meeting with my boss, where everything seemed to go wrong. People were talking over each other, deadlines were missed, and the mood was tense. I could feel my anxiety creeping up, but I knew I had to keep it together. So, I did what any logical person would do in that moment. I pretended. I took a deep breath, sat up straight, and kept a calm smile on my face, even though inside I was freaking out. At first it felt a little awkward, but after a few minutes, something surprising happened. My heart rate slowed, my thoughts became clearer, and I started responding with more clarity and composure. By the end of the meeting, I realized that faking calm had tricked my mind into actually becoming calm. When you fake it until you're calm, you're giving yourself the gift of emotional control. This strategy isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about training your mind to stay grounded, even when everything around you feels chaotic. It's about creating a space of calm within yourself, no matter what's happening externally. And let's be real, in a world that constantly feels like it's spinning out of control, having the power to control your inner peace is a superpower. It's a small, powerful act of self-mastery that can give you the strength to face challenges with grace. By mastering this technique, you're not just tricking yourself into being calm, you're giving yourself permission to pause, breathe, and take control of your emotional state. This is about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. The next time stress tries to take over, remember, you have the power to fake it until you're genuinely calm. You can reset your mind and face the world from a place of strength. Your calmness is your choice, and by pretending to stay cool, you're stepping into the power of real emotional control. Stay calm, because you already have what it takes to make it happen. Number 6, don't prioritize your peace. Why chaos can fuel your creativity. Here's a bold thought. Don't prioritize your peace. I know, that probably sounds like the opposite of what everyone's been telling you, but stay with me. Chaos, unpredictability, and disorder, these aren't the enemies of creativity. They might actually be its greatest allies. Now, I can already hear the skeptic in your mind. How can stress and mess ever fuel creativity? Well, yes, trust me on this one, because it's all about embracing the unpredictable nature of life rather than running from it. We've all been there, right? You've set aside time to work, you've cleared your space, you've promised yourself you're going to be productive, and then, boom, life happens. Maybe the kids start running around, the phone won't stop buzzing, or there's a million things happening all at once. You know the type, the kind of moment where peace seems impossible. You've probably thought, I just need some quiet to think, then I'll be productive. But here's the truth. Peace doesn't always lead to creativity. Sometimes it's the chaos that sparks the most innovative ideas. Here's why. Creativity thrives on challenges, contradictions, and the unexpected. When everything is calm and orderly, your mind has little to push against, no tension to work through. But when life throws chaos at you, it forces your brain to adapt, think differently, and innovate. The mess, the noise, the stress, those things can wake up parts of your brain that aren't activated in peaceful moments. Think about it. When you're comfortable, you're not as likely to step outside your usual boundaries. But when you're in the thick of it, with distractions pulling at your focus, you find new ways to solve problems and think in ways you never would have before. I had a moment like this not too long ago. I was working on a creative project, and as always, I was aiming for that perfect, peaceful environment to work in. But instead, I found myself in the middle of a chaotic situation. Calls coming in, the doorbell ringing, kids asking for my attention, and emails flooding my inbox. It was a mess, and for a split second, I thought, this is impossible. I'm never going to get anything done. But here's the kicker. When I stopped fighting it, I leaned into it. Instead of trying to find peace, I let the chaos lead the way. Ideas started flowing faster than ever, and I ended up with a completely new perspective on the project. What I thought was a disruption turned into the very thing that unlocked my creativity. This is about realizing that your peace isn't the only place where your best ideas live. Sometimes you've got to embrace the noise, the interruptions, and the mess. Creativity doesn't always come from a calm, ordered mind. It comes from pushing through the chaos, from working with what you've got in the moment. By letting go of the need for peace, you actually give yourself more freedom to think, explore, and create. This is about reclaiming your space, your creativity, and your ability to thrive in any situation. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of chaos, instead of stressing over it, take a step back and embrace it. Let the noise fuel you, let the mess inspire you, and watch as your best ideas rise from the turbulence. Because sometimes the most creative breakthroughs come not from finding peace, but from creating something beautiful in the middle of the storm. The chaos is your playground, and the only limit is how much you're willing to embrace it. Keep creating, even when it's messy. The best ideas often come from the least expected places. Number 7, dare to disconnect from people. Why alone time in chaos is crucial. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your mental health and creativity is this: disconnect from people. Yes, you heard me right. Take a step back, go off the grid, and embrace the chaos alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't being social a good thing? Shouldn't I be connecting with others more? Sure, there's nothing wrong with being social, but here's the thing. True peace and clarity often come when you're by yourself, away from all the noise and distractions of other people. Now, stick with me for a minute, because I know this sounds counterintuitive. We've all been there, flooded with messages, calls, requests, and expectations. Your phone's buzzing non-stop, your calendar's packed with social events, and you're constantly juggling to meet other people's needs. You know the type, the kind of day where you end up feeling more like a robot than a human. You're running on empty, giving so much of yourself and feeling drained, but never quite getting enough time to recharge. Ever feel like you just need to escape from it all, even if just for a little while? I bet you do. Here's the thing. We've been sold this idea that constantly being available to others is the key to building relationships, productivity, and success. But the truth is, being surrounded by others constantly can drown out your inner voice. Alone time, especially in chaos, can be the antidote to that. Think about it. When you're surrounded by noise, it's hard to hear what's really going on in your head, let alone have space to process emotions or creative ideas. Disconnecting doesn't just mean turning off your phone. It means intentionally carving out time to be with yourself, away from the pressures and demands of others. And when you embrace this, it's like hitting a reset button on your mind. I had a moment like this recently. I was in the middle of a family gathering, everyone talking over each other, music blasting, kids running around, and the usual chaos. I felt my energy slipping away, but instead of trying to manage the situation or join in, I excused myself for a few minutes. I stepped outside, took a deep breath, and let the world go on without me. For just those few moments, I was alone. I didn't check my phone, didn't engage in anyone's conversation, and just let the stillness settle in. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I didn't feel guilty about it either. That time gave me the space I needed to recharge and come back to the situation feeling refreshed and more present. Here's the kicker. That alone time wasn't just about rest. It gave me a sense of clarity, focus, and self-respect. We're often told to be always on, but that comes at the cost of losing touch with ourselves. By daring to disconnect, you reclaim your space, your energy, and your peace of mind. And it's not about abandoning people, it's about knowing when you need to fill up your own cup before you can pour into others. Taking time to disconnect from people isn't selfish, it's necessary. It's about giving yourself the mental and emotional room to breathe, process, and grow. Whether it's a few minutes in the chaos or a few hours of intentional solitude, it's your right to claim that time for yourself. This is about owning your space, your peace, and your dignity. It's about realizing that by disconnecting, you actually reconnect with yourself. And that's the most important relationship you'll ever have. So go ahead, dare to disconnect. Your creativity, clarity, and mental health will thank you. When you make alone time a priority, you're not just surviving the chaos, you're thriving in it. Number 8, say yes to overwhelm. Lean into stress for a quick reset. Here's a wild thought for you. What if I told you that the next time you're overwhelmed, stressed out, or buried in a mountain of tasks, you should say yes to it? Yep, you heard me right. Lean into that stress. Trust me on this. It's not as crazy as it sounds. I know it might make you think, wait, stress is bad, right? It makes me want to hide under a blanket, not embrace it. But before you dismiss the idea, just hear me out. There's actually power in leaning into overwhelm instead of running from it. We've all been there, drowning in to-do lists, deadlines piling up like they have a vendetta against us, and feeling like we're constantly one step away from falling apart. You know the type. You wake up feeling like you're already behind, then it just snowballs from there. The anxiety starts building, and you keep telling yourself, I just need a break. I can't keep up. It's exhausting, isn't it? And that's exactly when we're taught to slow down, take a deep breath, and get some distance from the stress. But what if running from it isn't the answer? What if you could use that stress as your secret weapon for a quick reset? Here's the twist. By leaning into your overwhelm, you actually give yourself the chance to turn it into something productive and, believe it or not, energizing. It's like this. Stress and overwhelm are often signals that your body and mind are working at full capacity. They're pushing you to expand, grow, and take action. If you try to ignore or avoid it, it just stays there, nagging and draining you. But if you acknowledge it, lean into it, and let it fuel you, it shifts the entire dynamic. It's not about letting the stress control you. It's about using it to propel you forward. Think of it as a spark to ignite your focus and creativity. I had a moment like this recently. I was in the middle of juggling multiple video projects, deadlines looming, and feeling like I was sinking. I could have easily chosen to stress out about how behind I was, but instead, I decided to take a deep breath and embrace the chaos. I leaned into the stress. I started writing down every single task, breaking them into chunks, and feeling the intensity of it all. And guess what? It wasn't as paralyzing as I thought it would be. I actually felt a surge of energy and focus. Instead of freezing, I took action, and everything started falling into place much faster. The stress wasn't something to fear. It became the momentum I needed to get things done. When you embrace stress, you shift the narrative. This isn't about ignoring your feelings or pushing through without a break. It's about recognizing that stress can be a tool, not an enemy. It's about reclaiming your space, your focus, and your productivity. By saying yes to the overwhelm, you give yourself permission to take control and reset. You're not backing down or shrinking away. You're standing tall and taking charge of your own mental and emotional energy. So, the next time you feel the pressure building, don't run from it. Lean into it. Let it fuel you. Embrace that stress and use it as a source of power to reset, refocus, and get back on track. Because here's the truth. You are stronger than your stress. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video helped you find a sense of calm in the chaos and gave you some practical strategies to implement in your own life. If you found this valuable, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps me out. And if you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. Also, if you know someone who's struggling with chaos right now, share this video with them. It might just be the tool they need to regain control. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your go-to strategy for staying calm in stressful situations? Let's get a conversation going and support each other. Remember, you have the power to stay grounded, no matter what life throws your way. Stay calm, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.